Hello, hi, how are you? I'm gay and I like to read books. Here are some of the books that I have, and a lot of my books are queer. I love gay book reading, it's my favorite hobby and passion. So I thought it would be a nice idea to walk you all through the queer books in my collection, the ones I've read, what I've not read. So I'm just gonna pull out all the gay books from my collection. I probably should have done this before the video, but I thought it would be a nice chance to do some hand porn. And yeah, this is a very intellectual book. I can't say I have read it, but I can pretend to have. Well, here it is, all my queer books laid out. It's honestly more than I think most bookshops I've ever gone to. And this is the pile that I never got around to reading for several reasons. So this was the first book that I ever read. I really wanted to find a gay book at the time, and I found this one by an Indian author. It's called Baby G, and my mom confiscated it when she found me reading it, mostly because it was very sexual. Like, it was about this high school girl discovering her sexuality, but in the most sexual way that one can discover their sexuality. Like, she slept with the maid and random neighbors and kept talking about how good everyone's chest looked in a nightie. It was a bit scarring, not gonna lie, to read this. I immediately thought being queer meant sleeping with everyone. So I felt pretty awkward about it, and then when my mom confiscated it, I felt like 20 times more awkward about it. So I never finished reading it. I only read like the first few chapters. And yeah, that's the end of Baby G. See you later. Next, I would like to welcome you to our feel-good section of queer books, which is quite possibly the hardest genre to find within queer books because most of them are sad. So here is my handpicked selection of queer books that will not make you cry, but instead feel good about being queer and not dirty and confused and like the whole world is out to get you. Even though those things can be true sometimes, it's nice to feel good. Coming in first place is And Playing the Role of Herself by K.E. Lane. This is a really good book, and it is what it says it is. In the back, it says fiction, romance, lesbian. That's exactly what you get. It's a fictional romance between two actresses who fall in love with each other on set while playing characters who fall in love with each other on a TV show. And then it happens in real life too. I love that sort of stuff. This stuff is like fan fiction in book format, which is my way of saying it's really, really good. Happy ending. Good job. Will recommend. 10 on 10. I've already made my love for this book abundantly clear. I absolutely love Shamim Sarif, and I absolutely love I Can't Think Straight. In case you've seen the movie, read the book. In case you've read the book, watch the movie. It's really good, and there is a bit of coming out drama. Feels a little heavy because family is involved and stuff. But it's basically a story about two brown women falling for each other in London, in the Middle East and stuff like that. And it's really, really nice. And again, it really focuses on the romance and the love and the lesbianness of the whole thing, which I really like. Please, 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 my friends. I actually can't believe that I don't have this book with me, but I think it's actually number 1 on the list. My partner took it from me and I don't think they've returned it yet. Yes, I'm looking at you. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Such a good book. It combines romance of a sapphic nature along with like a really, really good plot. It's amazing. I don't think I've ever read a lesbian romance that had a good plot to go with it, and the plot wasn't just one of us has to tell our families that I'm homosexual.
Damn.
One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. My partner has it for a reason because it's so good and they can't stop reading it. If there is only one book that you actually start reading after watching this video, please have it be One Last Stop. It is such a good book. Okay, next up by the same author, Red, White and Royal Blue. I don't need to introduce it at all. I just want to tell everyone that yes, I have read it. You can stop yelling at me. I read it. I get it. It's good. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's so well written. I love it. Hello, hello, hello. Back with some more gay gentleman romances. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. One of my exes actually made me read this book, and It's good, it's really nice, it's really pretty, you know, it's really like flouncy, like, you know, the words and the feelings and the emotions, it's pure teenage angst. I don't know what to tell you. It is a nice book, it's a happy ending and all of that, but I am made to feel so many things that I'm not actually feeling in the moment, because I think you can only read this book as a teenager when you really feel things all the time about everything. I think if you get past the age of being like 21, I don't think you can physically read this book anymore. You do not have the bandwidth to feel so much. I really congratulate the author of this book for staying a teenager forever and ever and feeling all of those queer teenage emotions. Yeah, definitely worth a read though. Beautiful book. I really couldn't read the sequel. I could not. I was so tired. I get it. You love each other and you have a lot of poetry in your soul. Next up is one of my favorite books. This is the first lesbian romance book that I ever read. The first lesbian book that I ever read. And it's called Annie on My Mind, and it's by Nancy Garden. And it's beautiful. Like, it's so well written. Like, I think I've reread this like 5-6 times, and it honestly changed my life. I think a lot of these books changed my life because I read them at a certain point in my life. So I can't say that it'll be life-changing for everyone who reads them, especially people who've already found a lot of queer fiction, queer books, queer experiences. But for me, this book was like really amazing because I could feel like the love between those two characters. I felt like I was voyeuristically living my first lesbian relationship while reading this book, way before I ever dated a girl. And it's a bit sad. I think it tackles like a very real situation where people around you don't like you just because you're gay, but then you find support. So it's about two high school students who fall for each other, and one of them is very internally homophobic, and then when she accidentally is forced to come out to people around her, she finds a lot of external homophobia. So every variety of homophobia you can imagine.
Boo!
But it is a nice ending. Spoiler alert, I don't care. My feel-good books have to have happy endings. Coming in pretty strong in our happy feel-good section is a book called Happy Endings by an Indian author, and that's what I really love about it. It is like Indian Bollywood lesbian fan fiction on drugs. This book is basically if Karan Johar set up Deepika Padukone with her female childhood crush / best friend. I don't know what to tell you. This book is a thing of beauty. When I read it, I couldn't believe that it existed. That's how feel good it is. Like, when I'm feeling bad, like, I just want to like rip my chest open and put the book inside, because it is shamelessly, audaciously gay. Like, it's made everyone gay. It made Deepika Padukone gay. I know it's not Deepika Padukone in the book, but I swear that actress character is based off of Deepika Padukone. I know it in my heart. The writing is maybe a little unrefined, but the story more than makes up for it. Seriously, read this book. I promise you, you will not be able to put it down, and you will be very happy at the end of the book. I would like to thank Minita Sangvi for writing this book. And of course, this is one of my Amazon finds. So every now and then I go onto Amazon and I write lesbian books in the search bar, and then whatever comes up, if it looks good, I buy it. Because I have a book buying problem. Like, I will not stop myself from buying books because, you know, it's the power of the written word. It's very important. So this book is about an Armenian queer love story. So it has a lot about Armenian culture in it, which I never knew about. It was very cool to learn about it from an Armenian author. And it's very, very bisexual forward, very, very queer. Just loving it. Really love the characters in it. Like, it feels very up to date with what our community is like. And it feels very relatable as an Indian because it has a lot of stuff about arranged marriage and a very nosy mom who really wants her daughter to get married to a man, but instead her daughter meets a woman and realizes, hey, I am bisexual. And of course there is some family-induced homophobia, so-and-so, such and such, community-induced homophobia, which feels very real and all of that. But it has a very positive, happy ending, so I would definitely suggest checking it out for sure. Sorry bro. Sorry bro is basically the hitman that she doesn't manage. Like, sorry bro, I'm gay now. Sorry bro. Yeah.
Gay!
Last of all, we have Less, which is not less at all in the feel good section. It's really nice. Like, it is so well written. If the story doesn't draw you in, the writing will draw you in. And this book was actually a gift to me from someone I met on Tumblr, which makes it extra special for me. And it's really nice, and I'd like to thank them for giving me this book. I read it to completion very, very quickly, and I loved it. It's about an older gay man who feels like he's a failure, who feels like none of his relationships have worked out, and then realizes a lot of things about himself, and spoiler, 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 it's a happy ending. This is definitely something that I think even someone who is like a beginner reader who doesn't really read much can read, and even someone who's like a very intellectual reader, like, I believe in literature, they can read it too. It's such a good book. And we have now reached the end of our feel good section. If you know any other feel good, happy ending books that are queer, please tell me. Books that don't have to be sad and that are gay are my life's calling. I will come to your house and give you flower bouquet as a token of my appreciation, because I think reading nice queer books really made me feel good about myself. It really normalized my queer identity for me, because when you watch a movie, it ends in 2 hours and you don't really get into a character's thinking when you watch a movie. But when you read a book, it stays with you for days or months or weeks, and depends on how slow you read. Because when you grow up thinking, I'm straight, I need to be heteronormative, I need to be cisgender for like so many years of your life, it takes a lot of years of your life to realize that even if you know theoretically that being queer is okay, it's still hard to completely believe it and normalize it for yourself. And I think books speed up that process a lot, like exponentially, especially books by queer authors, because they understand you and they think like you. It got to a point where I started reading so much queer fiction, especially fan fiction, that I really forgot people could be straight. I was puzzled by the fact that men and women could fall in love with each other. That's the extent I over-normalized it. Don't do what I did, or maybe do what I did. It's a good world to live in. Delusion. Good times. Yeah, cool. See ya. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, woof, woof.